Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TV Enthusiast discussion of Game of Thrones. Today we are going to be talking about Episode 8 of Season 6, titled No One. I am your host and editor-in-chief of TV Enthusiast. My name is Tyson, and joining me today, as always, is Will.
Hello.
So, as always, we're going to go through it by geography, starting off in Marine. So, this week, Varys and Tyrion started the action in Marine, basically celebrating Tyrion's good choices. So sure about it, but he's got some kind of a tip, so he's headed off. Tyrion's kind of, like, oh, everything's going well, and then he goes, and we get a little downtime with Tyrion and his and the other advisors, Grey Worm, and I can't remember the girl's name, and he's trying to get them to joke. This time, he finally succeeds to get them to both drink and joke, but pretty bad jokes.
Yeah, pretty awful jokes.
And just when Tyrion's happy and smiling and laughing, alarms sound off, Grey Worm goes running off. Turns out that the Masters have sent a bunch of ships to collect their property, as the girl said. And now it seems like kind of everything Tyrion did maybe wasn't the right move. Things are not going well. And they're just getting assaulted. The place is getting firebombed by these ships, just massive naval force. And then they hear something land on the ceiling, and the guards get ready, and Daenerys pops in. She's back, and she doesn't look too pleased with her children.
She looks pretty upset, actually. That was a badass moment, even though nothing happened. It's like she's back. You see her dragon in the background, just wrecking.
Yeah.
If you look behind Daenerys, her dragon is busy flying around wrecking shit. So It's she's back with the freaking vengeance. She has her dragon. She has the entire Khal army, behind her. The entire, Dothraki.
Yeah, the Dothraki.
Yeah, the entire force of the Dothraki, not just one army, but all of them. And so, these slavers who are attacking Marine now, they're in deep shit, and they don't even realize it.
Unfortunately, it looks like Tyrion might be in a little bit of shit too.
Yeah, it's she had this look on her face you fucked up.
She is not happy with the imp right now.
No, she is not. When she finds out the deal he made when she was gone, she is gonna be furious. I can't wait for that.
Poor Tyrion, because it's we know he was doing the right thing. He was doing with the cards he had. He was playing his best hand, and but Daenerys doesn't know Tyrion. She doesn't. She just thinks he's another lord from one of the Westeros houses that helped exile her family. So
yeah, so
she took a gamble trusting him, and to her it might not be paying off quite well. So we'll have to see how that goes. I feel bad for Tyrion. He's probably in his most dangerous position right now.
So Tyrion is in a precarious position, but he's been in a precarious positions every season. That seems to be his thing. And he makes
he's always kind of in a shitty place.
It's always a shitty place. So I think he'll pull through this shitty place to get to the next shitty place, just like he always does.
Yeah, I'm hopeful, but I just feel right now we've gone from it being he's the only character that was in pretty much every episode with I think one exception up to this season. and now he's like appeared a little bit less every bit, you know. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I could see them killing him off now, you know, like he doesn't feel like he has as much plot armor as he used to.
I know, right?
So I'm like, oh.
Tyrion evolved into audience's favorite character.
And somehow he's dead.
And somehow he's dead. Yeah.
Hope that's nice, but that would be a kind of shitty way for him to go out. Like, he tries to do his best, he gets screwed over, and then Daenerys comes back and kills him or something. That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. Also, that would like make the audience like really hate Daenerys, and I don't think they want to do that.
Well, there is a rumor that she's going to become like a villain, so that would be a good step towards going in that direction. I don't buy into that rumor myself.
I don't buy into that rumor either. Like, what's a villain in this show? Like, she's not going to suddenly become freaking Ramsay Snow.
And cut off their dicks. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what's going on in Marine. We'll have more to talk about there when we get to pulling threads, but let's move a little bit over on that same continent to Braavos. Now, this is probably the weakest part of the episode, in my opinion, and that's Arya's storyline in Braavos, which last week I was kind of like, I don't know, like I felt like it was a little bit out of character for Arya to be taken by surprise so easily, but I was kind of holding off going, maybe she'll kind of turn things around a little bit in the next episode and we'll kind of find out why that was the case and stuff. And it's like, no, she was just careless.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so that's kind of upsetting. So a wounded Arya visits the actress that she was supposed to assassinate. The actress is kind of taking care of her.
Yep.
But, you know, the actress had a hit on her from the Faceless Men, and Arya didn't see it out. So Arya wakes up to find her just horribly killed.
Yep.
And the waif standing over her body.
And then the waif aggressively chases after Arya, this time determined not to let Arya get away alive. I mean,
they have a little parkour chase.
Yeah, they have a parkour chase. Arya rips open her stitches, obviously, because she's in no condition to be doing parkour. You know,
but she really wanted to be a part of American Ninja Warrior, but you know, the doctors were like, "No, don't do it."
Yeah, doctors were like, "No, stop." But it kind of ends anticlimactically because Arya makes her way back to like her little hideout, I guess, where she's keeping her sword, her needle, and she ends up killing the waif off screen. You don't see it, like you don't see that final confrontation because she cuts the candle and she takes the waif out blind.
Yeah. She wanted to put them in a position where maybe she had some kind of an advantage, and because she just recently been blind and had to learn how to fight blind, she thought that would give her somewhat of an advantage in a fight against the waif. So she cut out the candle. She kind of in a way she did lure her back. To me, it seems like Arya had a plan to lure the waif back there and kill her, and instead got caught up in a moment and got grievously injured and ended up having to kind of fly by the seat of her pants until she was able to get her back to the spot where she had planned to kill her.
Yeah.
So it's kind of annoying because it would have been cooler if it was more like all an elaborate trap on Arya's part, you know? But it just kind of seems out of character for her to be like, she plots this trap and then like immediately screws the waif off screen. The only reason we know that she killed the waif is because
she delivers
her afterwards.
She delivers her face to Jaqen.
Yeah, Jockin's following a trail of blood in the Hall of the Faceless Men, and goes up, and you see the waif's face on the wall.
But you see, like, it's something interesting at the end, though. Like, when Arya declares who she is to Jockin, and when Jockin sees that Arya killed the waif, he has, like, this kind of, like, smile of satisfaction. You know,
because he's like Team Arya.
yeah, he's like Team Arya. Yeah, it like leads me to think like that's what she was supposed to do all along.
Yeah, or that maybe she wasn't supposed to do that, but having been somebody that cared for her, he was happy that she did, that she left, you know?
Yeah. I have no idea what the hell Jockin's smiles were about. It wasn't like really explained. I don't think it ever will be.
Yeah.
Why was Jockin happy at the end?
He just thought of a joke.
Yeah, he just thought of a joke. Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah. Oh, that was good. He was remembering the last episode of Silicon Valley. He was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. that was good. I know.
So that's Bravos in a nutshell. What's going on with that? I guess we're probably just never going to see Bravos again.
I guess that was the end of the Bravos storyline. So that was, I don't know what the point of that was, but yeah.
So Arya's on her way back to Westeros. The last two episodes, the story with Arya, I think, and just in general this season, I think her story hasn't really been that great.
It hasn't. It's like it's clear that the writers, I guess, didn't know what the heck to do with her, and so like I guess they just had this meandering plot line that didn't like go anywhere, just for her character. And it's like, I don't know. I'm lukewarm on it.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about the way they handled that. But I'm happy that she's leaving Bravos now.
Yeah, I'm happy she's leaving Bravos and is Arya Stark and is going to go back to doing Arya Stark things.
Yeah. So let's head over to Westeros now, where Arya is going to be headed as well. Let's check in at King's Landing, where the Faith Militant comes for Cersei.
Yeah.
And she says she chooses violins, and the mountain mishears her and thinks she said violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, no, I said violins.
Goddamn stupid zombie.
No, that was great. The mountain just ripped out his skull.
Oh god, that was brutal. Yeah, he just like rips his like jawbone completely off of his face.
He ripped off his whole head.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was brutal. That was just woof. Jeez. Yeah, the mountain is just brutal as hell.
Yeah.
Of course that freaks out all the Faith Militant.
They go running off. They're like, well, I guess there won't be violence. See you later.
Yep.
We're giving you a pass this one time.
We're giving you a pass this one time.
So yeah, and that leads to kind of the major occurrence in King's Landing, which is that the King's and is told by Kevin Lannister that she can't sit by the king's side, that she has to go to the I forget what he said, the term he used, but she has to go to the back of the line, basically.
Yeah, she has to go back to
see what he has to say. And basically King Kool Aid says derp de derp. High Sparrow says trial by combat's not good, so let's like do away with that or something.
Yeah.
And there goes Cersei's plans.
And there goes Cersei's plans. Yeah, she was going to use the mountain, or the zombie mountain, as her like as her ace in the hole, there was going to be a trial by combat, and she was going to win it pretty handily because she had like the baddest motherfucker in the entire like world right at her side, and she knew it. And well, the Faith Militant knew this too, and they're not stupid, and so they convinced Tomen, who is a bit of a dunce, to outlaw the trial by combat.
So Cersei's like, fuck.
Yeah.
But she has one little silver lining, and she talks to her disgraced Meister buddy, and she's like, so have you heard, what about that rumor you were looking into? And he's like, oh yes, the little birds, they discovered the rumor, and it's more than they thought. And so what do you think that means?
I have no idea. I saw an article on IGN, like IGN speculating that, that's referring to stocks of wildfire in the castle, and that Cersei is gonna like burn the whole place down.
She was stockpiling it, remember, in season 2.
Yeah, she was stockpiling it in season 2, yeah.
And then Tyrion went through her supply of it, but there had been rumors or something about there being more, that because the Mad King was basically going to burn down
the Mad King
whole city,
burn down King's Landing, and so there was rumors that he had a huge stockpile of it somewhere. And IGN speculating, it was IGN articles speculating that this was the case, and this is what Cersei is talking about. I don't think it's that. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Like I honestly thought when that happened, I honestly thought I missed something in a previous episode. Like because
there was also because there was the scene in Bran's vision where it showed the Mad King saying burn them all, and then you saw like the alchemist or whatever that make the wildfire like stocking vials of wildfire, and then you saw an explosion like coming from underneath a city or something. So what if that was a vision of the future, that explosion, not the past? And Cersei's going to do something, maybe not going after King's Landing as a whole, but maybe going after, like where the church is,
Right.
Putting them in the sewer systems or whatever.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure.
It would be pretty badass if it happened, because some of the big players have left King's Landing. Jaime left King's Landing. The Queen of Thorns left King's Landing. So right now, the only kind of real big players there are like Cersei, Tommen, and what's that? I can't think. Like the small council people, like Heaven and High Sparrow and stuff like that, So, I mean, it could kind of make sense. They could just kind of wipe out the city, and that would be kind of epic and crazy, and it would kind of change the whole dynamic for, like, trying to take back the Iron Throne or whatever for all these people, because basically there's, like, nothing left. I could kind of see something like that happening. Plus, if you remember, Daenerys had her vision in season 2, and she was in the throne room, and it was all, like, destroyed.
Right.
It was like a rune. So, that would be kind of crazy. I kind of think that, without any more information, that's, like, the best guess anybody can really make. Like, what else could they be talking about?
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking about, to be honest.
Who knows? It could be some swerve. It could be some dirt on the High Sparrow himself.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
Maybe the High Sparrow has somebody he cares about that they've located or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Because that's kind of Cersei's go-to plan, really, is to find a way to corrupt somebody. So, who knows? We'll have to see what happens with that. But that's basically what's going down in King's Landing. This scene, along with some other stuff that happened in this episode that we're going to get to next, it was basically like a big nail in the coffin of the whole Clegane Bowl theory. That it was going to be like the Mountain versus the Hound. Well, I mean, they could still fight potentially, but they're not going to fight over Cersei.
They're not going to fight over Cersei. I don't think Clegane Bowl is happening at this point. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere in that direction. It doesn't, Clegane. Okay, so his story now is like he came across.
This is on the Quiet Isle, by the way.
This is on the Quiet Isle. Yes. He comes across these I guess these worshippers of the Lord of Light. I guess
some people that seem to be associated with the people that killed his village.
He sees that they're about to hang those people.
Well, even let's go back even before then. What did you think of the guy slipping his finger up the other guy's ass? Such an awkward scene.
No comment.
That was fun seeing the Hound.
No comment. It was fun. Okay, so this part, and I thought about it. It's like the second part of the scene. I was like disappointed because he didn't like get his full revenge. But then I thought, they did this like very evenly. The first half he kills these fools brutally. So like when the episode begins, like they satisfy your desire for bloodlust up front, and then you get to the second, you're like, oh yeah, and then you're like, and then you feel kind of as disappointed as Clegane does, when he finds out that he can't like brutally murder these people.
You can still kill them, just not as brutally.
Still kill.
Like.
Yeah.
Like two of them, they're like bartering.
They're like bartering.
He's like, one, and he's like, why not two? Come on, you're breaking my balls here.
Two. It's like, okay, but they hang. It's like, oh, come on. I can't chop off his dick. I can't. Where's the he's going to die a quick death. Where's the fun in that?
So the kind of leader of this group of the three guys that came to the village and then ended up killing everybody gets hung, as well as two others who are with him at the time. And the people that are there that were bartering with the Hound, the guy with the eye patch, that's Beric Dondarrion, he's the first guy that was resurrected on the show. Right. He's the guy that fought the Hound in, I believe, in season 3, I believe. Yeah, in season 3, he fought the Hound and the Hound killed him. And then all of a sudden he was like healed and back, and the Hound was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. And he found out that red priest that's with him, the guy that's got like the balding guy with the man bun.
Yeah, with the man bun. Yeah.
He's like a priest of the red god, just like Melisandre, and he's brought that guy back. He's brought Beric Dondarrion back like 6 times or something. He said. He just keeps dying and being brought back.
He keeps dying. Like I think, I think there's one point where in this episode where Sandor like says, when they're like bartering, Sandor says, "Come on, everybody dies." And then he points to Badarian and he says, "Except you." Or something along those lines. It's like, yeah.
That was maybe my favorite scene in the episode, was just kind of like, even after that, it was just the Hound kind of hanging out with the Brotherhood, chatting with them.
Having like the Hound, yeah, that was like my favorite scene, because the Hound, like, I love it, like I just love him. He's like so glib. He can be so glib sometimes. He's like a really fun character, even though he's like really gloomy and loves to brutally kill things. But he has like this world. He has this like sarcastic sense of humor. And he's very glib. He's just a fun character to watch.
So yeah, it was fun watching him kind of just hanging out with the Brotherhood Without Banners, and this was the other kind of nail in the coffin of Clegane Bowl, which was basically them seemingly convincing him that the real war is up north, and that he could be of help there, and that he could kind of redeem himself by heading north. And it seems like it got through to him. We don't really know, but it seems like, if nothing else, the Brotherhood Without Banners is heading north.
Honestly, that would be a more logical direction for his story to take than just him going and fighting his brother. And then,
Clegane Bowl would be like a cool bit of like fan service.
It's fan service. Yeah, exactly. That would
just up north is much more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. That would just be fan service. It wouldn't like serve any story or narrative plot. That'd be like, oh, cool, they fought. Now what?
What would be badass would be him going up north and fighting in the war of the bastards, the Battle of the Bastards that's about to happen. And because he did have a lot of scenes with like Sansa in like season 2, and then if Arya is heading back to Winterfell, then that would mean that he could re-encounter Arya, and he'd also be encountering Brienne. So there's lots of these characters that he's had these connections and moments with that could line back up if he goes up north. So it's much more exciting than him basically taking out his zombie brother.
Right.
But that's basically what's happening in the Quiet Isle, or wherever it is. Quiet Isle was the similar location in the book, so that's just what we're saying because we don't really know. It's the only place in the last couple episodes where we don't know exactly where they are. Let's move on to the last place. Brienne. But my favorite part was Podrick and Bronn meeting up again.
That was my favorite part. Podrick and Bronn, what a pair. I want to watch a buddy comedy show that's just Bronn and Roderick. Just like Podrick. I was like trying to think. Oh my god. just Bronn and Podrick, just a buddy comedy show. Them two on the road. God, I would watch like 10 seasons of that. It would never get old.
So that was cool. I love seeing Bronn reacting with people where it's not so serious.
Right.
You know? I miss that. I miss him when he worked with like Tyrion, and they'd be kind of like joking around and stuff. And then they had Podrick there too, and they're doing all these callbacks to like jokes from earlier with Podrick, like how he happened to be like a really good lover when they like gave a girl at the brothel, and like the girls like didn't take the money because he was so good.
Yeah, because he was so good. Yeah, I know.
And Tyrion and Bronn were like, "What the hell?"
And Bronn's asking like Podrick, if he ever slept with Brienne. He's like, "I'm her squire." He's like, no. He's like, "I bet Jaime's fucking her."
He's all, I'd fuck her.
I'd fuck her.
I hear there's a crazy wildling up north that wants to fuck her.
Yeah. Really.
So this was a big episode. This scene was big for like the Jaime Brienne chippers. I just can't, it just feels like a doomed love affair. I just want her to hook up with the wildling up north.
Jaime and Brienne is doomed because Jaime's too in love with his sister.
Yeah.
As girls will say, it's like, oh, okay. You could have
like
a normal.
What's wrong with him too? Like the more time they're together, the worse he becomes. Like the worse of a person, and the more time he's away from her, like the better of a person he becomes.
The better person, yeah. That's a weird dichotomy there. Yeah, like Cersei is such a bad person that it rubs off on Jaime completely.
Yeah,
it's like so when Jaime's with Cersei, he's like a bastard, but like when he's away from her, he actually manages to be a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this episode, in this scene, Bran and Jaime meet. Bran actually gets what we kind of thought was going to happen when we talked about this last week with Bran coming, is basically what Bran does right up front. She says, "Okay, Jaime, here's the deal. You want the castle. I want Blackfish and his forces. So I'll go in. I'll convince him to go with us. You let us go. You give us safe passage out of there. You know, you promise you're not going to kill us, and you can take the castle." And Jamie's like, "Sure, you know, have at it. Go for it. Yeah, I'm down."
Yeah, that sounds good. If you can convince the Blackfish. She couldn't convince the Blackfish, even with the lair from Sansa. Even after convincing him that really was the lair from Sansa, Blackfish is a stubborn, like a super stubborn bastard, and just won't give up for any reason whatsoever.
Even when he knows he's that's it. He knows that the game's over, and he's still not going to give up. It's like he's basically chosen this place as his place to die. He's like, this is where I grew up, this is my home, and this is where I'm going to die.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's even to the point in which, like, when they're surrendering the castle, and Brienne's like, "Well, come with us. It's like it's already over. You've already lost. There's nothing to be done now. Just come with us." And he's like, "Nope."
No, he's just like, "Nope, I'm just gonna go die." It's like, that's how stubborn he is. Jaime, for his part, he does something pretty brilliant. He uses Edmure to get into the castle, because even though the Blackfish has control of it, Edmure is still the Lord of Riverrun.
Yeah.
The Lord of that castle. And so, like, the soldiers, even knowing it's a trap, even, like, knowing it's obviously a trap that by the Lannisters, that they set up, like, even with this knowledge, they're, like, compelled to follow his orders to the Blackfish's, like, stubborn dismay. Like, he is just like, "God damn it, you asshole."
He's like, he's got a knife to his throat, basically. This isn't his actual opinion or his actual choice of what he wants. This is the Kingslayers, and they're like, "I know, my lord, but he's my lord. You're not my lord, my lord."
Yeah, it's like, it's a pretty ridiculous situation. And it's like, okay, he's like, but it's under duress, like, so I guess, like, if with a knife to his throat, if he told you to kill yourself, you would do it. It's like, I don't understand your logic there, but whatever. But we proved that his men are stupid as shit, so,
Well, they seem to know. I think it was more like an issue of, like, honor. It was like, they just kind of are going with it because they feel like they have to, like they just don't have a choice. And they knew it was up. Like, when the Blackfish was saying it, the other guy was like, "Yeah, I realize," which just makes it kind of tragic, because it's like, yeah, they're just fucked. If they turn their back, then they're being dishonorable. It's like, and then, like, everything they fought for, taking back Riverrun, is just kind of moot at that point. So I think that's kind of where they're coming from. But yeah, I mean, they're stuck in a hard place. Jaime was able to convince Edmure to basically betray his uncle and stuff, because he threatened to catapult his child into the castle. And Edmure's like, "What the fuck, man?" And Jaime's like, "The only thing I love is my sister, and I'd kill everyone with the name Tully in the entire world if it meant getting back to her."
Yeah.
And that leaves Edmure basically like, "Well, okay, I'm fucked, so might as well make the best of the situation and survive, and have my child survive, and be able to get the fuck out of this situation I'm in now, where I'm imprisoned." Because Jaime basically offers them, he said, "We'll give you a place in Castle Rock, which is the Lannisters' home, and you can stay there and be at peace, not as a prisoner, just like there. You have your own place. And yeah, Edmure's like, well, I guess that's better than watching my baby get murdered.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Podrick and Brienne take off in a boat. There's this scene at the end, like you really touch to see where Jaime is in the castle, having taken it over, having succeeded in ending the siege, and he's up on the castle, and he sees Brienne and Podrick fleeing on their boat, and and Brienne looks back and she sees Jaime standing watching her, and Jaime raises his hand, he waves, and she kind of waves back.
Yeah. I really liked right before then, I believe, when one of Jaime's men comes to him and says, "We got the Blackfish," and Jaime's like, "Oh, good, bring him to me." And they're like, "He died fighting." And you could see kind of like the disappointment on Jaime's face. And it's like, if you had seen that like before, like maybe in season 1, the idea would have been maybe like, oh, Jaime wanted to kill him himself, But knowing Jaime more and kind of knowing how he's been basically through this whole arc, it's like he knows he's kind of on the wrong side of what's happening. And he knows that the Blackfish is like on the right side of what was happening. But he beat the Blackfish, and the Blackfish is dead, and that's like something that he regrets.
Right.
So I kind of like the way they handled that in a very subtle way, like not really directly depicted. It was just kind of in his reaction to learning the Blackfish was dead.
Right.
So yeah, that's it for River Run. Brienne's heading back up to Sansa with no force. Let's move on to my favorite part of the show, where we talk about where everything's going from everything that we just saw, pulling threads.
Yes.
So, first up, I don't know, did you watch the preview for next week's episode?
Nope, so don't discuss it.
Well, I'm not going to say anything spoilery, but we know, like, the title of the episode has already been announced as, like, the Battle of the Bastards.
Oh, Battle of the Bastards. So that means Jon versus Ramsay.
Yeah, it's that battle we know is coming up, and they keep saying they have to do it now, even if they don't have the forces. So it's like, it looks like that's coming up. And we saw in the trailers, we saw bits from the battle, so we knew it was going to happen this season. There's only 2 episodes left.
Here's
the thing is, the preview for this next week's episode only showed scenes from that.
See, so it might be, the episode just might be just fully about this battle. Yeah. Like, because they did that before. They did Hard Home.
No, Hard Home was in different places, but you're thinking of
I'm thinking of something
when the wildlings attacked the wall.
Yeah, I'm thinking about when the wildlings attacked the wall. The entire episode was just about that. And
they did one in season 2 with Tyrion and King's Landing with Stannis attacking.
Yep.
And the wildfire.
Yep, that whole episode was just about that incident. They didn't jump to any of the other storylines for that one episode, so this might be that episode this season. Yeah. Because, when you think about it, it makes sense, because, like, the last 2 episodes, we didn't really get much, at the wall. That storyline took a back seat for, like, 2 episodes now. So so it's time for that storyline to come out in front. So it makes sense, when you think about it that way, too. It's like, okay, well, we haven't had much about that storyline for a solid 2 hours now. We're coming out to the end of the season, so they have to do something with this. Yeah, this is the big battle they've been teasing throughout, like, the whole season, and they've kind of cut away from it for a while, and now it's time. And they're, I'm kind of glad if they do it like one episode. I'm kind of glad they're doing it this way, because, like, I think they need a full episode to cover everything that's going to happen. But I think if they cut it like mid-battle, like into 2 episodes or a couple different episodes, it wouldn't have worked as well. We need this battle. Here's what I'm thinking. There's several things I'm thinking. John is outnumbered. They already killed John off and they resurrected him, and they didn't. They already killed John off and they resurrected him, and they didn't resurrect him just to kill him off again, because that would be like exceedingly silly. So I'm thinking like this fight gets underway, and this is like what, episode 9 now?
Yeah, episode 9. This is the penultimate of the season.
So usually the big holy shit moment of the season usually comes in episode 9. If this is going to be a
Ned's beheading, the big two of the big battles. We had the big, the battle you referred to at the wall at the Wildling was in episode 9, and so was the other one I mentioned with Tyrion and the wildfire and Stannis.
So here's how I'm guessing this plays out, because we need that holy shit moment. So here's how I'm guessing it plays out. Jon reluctantly goes into battle against Ramsay. It goes pretty much how you would expect with Jon's forces, outnumbered. Littlefinger probably comes to his aid. I don't think it's enough. I think Ramsay holds his own, and it seems like Jon's done for. Then holy shit, the Night King shows up with his army of White Walkers, fucks a bunch of shit up. The Night King stabs Ramsay right through, probably turns him in the process, and then that commotion allows Jon and his remaining forces to escape and regroup, and then you get the sense for the next season that the White Walkers have arrived. Winter is here. Shit has got real, and there's no more fucking around.
I don't think it's going to happen quite like that. I think what's going to happen is Littlefinger might get involved. The Brotherhood Without Banners, the Hound might get involved. There could be another twist. I talked way long ago about how Ramsay has this like strong alliance with these two, like the youngest sons of these two northern houses, and it seems to be setting up like they're basically turning on their houses. But what if they're not? Right. I could totally see, like, remember in like Braveheart when like they sent in. You've seen Braveheart, right?
Yeah, I've seen Braveheart.
And they sent in like the Irish forces, and the Irish and Scottish were running at each other, and then they like stopped and just started hugging.
Yeah.
And then it was like they just kind of turned around, and all of a sudden, like, their entire vanguard of the British side was now on the side of the Scottish.
Yep. I remember that.
I could totally see something like that happening. Not quite exactly the same, but like where like part of Ramsay's forces turns on them. And something like that happens. Or, I don't know, some other kind of big holy shit kind of moment. Maybe it's the Brotherhood Without Banners that are the real players that come into effect, Yeah. Maybe Melisandre does something creepy. You just see a smoke monster shoot out of her vagina and just start slaying everybody.
The smoke monster shoots out of her vagina. That's where the smoke monster in Lost came from. It was yeah. The smoke monster was a vagina monster this whole time.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Bran goes south of the wall and does some kind of trippy magic thing or something, like makes everybody aware of it. I don't think we're going to see the Night's King and the White Walkers yet. Yeah, I think that's going to be maybe the very end of the last episode.
Maybe
that could be like the holy shit, this is the turning of the tide moment.
See, I think I think it's going to come during the fight with Ramsay, because I think that would just be more dramatic and unexpected. Like, you're expecting a straight fight, and then I don't know. I think that would make like a huge impact. If
it depends on where they're fighting too, because imagine if they're fighting with the wall as the backdrop.
Yeah.
And then you just see the wall. You hear a loud like horn or something, and you see the wall just collapse.
Oh,
that would be kind of like amazing. Like, you wouldn't even have to show the Night's King show up. You just see the wall collapse, and it's like, oh fuck,
Yeah. oh shit. This is, and also it'd be pretty amazing. Like, that would be the oh shit moment. Like, oh shit, like maybe now the White Walkers are in Westeros, like proper. You know,
and then you start seeing some of the corpses on the battlefield rise up.
Yeah, that because I'm trying to think like I have a huge like oh shit moment for like the end of this. I think that would probably be it.
Yeah, it could be. We'll have to see what happens with that. We don't know for sure that this is going to be an entirely self-contained episode.
Right.
It seems to be, but even if it is, there's other stuff to talk about. There's other pieces moving on the old chessboard that could come up in the last episode of the season.
There's Cersei's trial. She seems to have an idea of what to do now.
Yeah, we have to see what's going to go in that. And then Marjorie clearly has some play in her back pocket.
Yeah, Marjorie has something she's got going on.
Dorne hasn't come into play.
Dorne, I'm not expecting anything to happen with Dorne until next season, to be honest.
I'm half of me just expects that Dorne is basically just written off the show entirely.
Yeah, they seem to be like an afterthought. It seems to be like, I don't know, they did this last season too. They're like, oh shit. And it's like just psych. And now it's like this season, it's like, oh yeah, we remember Dorne exists. Oh shit. Oh, psych again.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, the last we saw of Dorne was in the first episode. They made this big power shift move, and that very well could have just been to show, like, that was them declaring their independence, and we'll just never see them again. We just don't know, what's going to happen with that. But, but they could come into play. That could end up happening. They could come into play in the whole drama on King's Landing and use it to their advantage for all we know. There's all sorts of things that could happen. But the other thing that I really want to talk about, well, two things. One is that the Masters have brought all of those ships towards Daenerys to take on Daenerys' forces in Marine. And of course now we know Daenerys is back and she has all of those Dothraki, but they're hurling fire from the sea, and the dragon, Drogon's the only one that's currently free. The other two are still locked away. They're not collared, but they're locked inside still. So he can fuck shit up to some extent, but there's a lot of ships. But there's another possibility, and that's that the Greyjoys are coming to see Daenerys. And we know that they've been referenced as being kind of like this threat. Like in the last episode, we saw when Arya was booking passage to Westeros, they were talking like, oh yeah, those Greyjoys, I'm just going to steer clear of where they are. And they're all the way in Volantis, which means they're already pretty close to Marine.
Yeah, they're already pretty close to Marine. They're coming for her. They're coming to give her ships.
And what are the Greyjoys best at? Better than anybody else at?
Seafaring.
Yep, war at sea.
Yep.
So
you're right. So if the slaves
maybe this is the rest of the ships that Daenerys needs. Maybe they're just going to take them straight from the Masters.
So it's funny because the Masters are like waging the sea battle against Marine, and if the Greyjoys like ride up, they're gonna freaking wreck these Masters are wrecked no matter what. It doesn't even matter. Greyjoys are not. It's like,
yeah, it just matters how much damage they're able to do before they're wrecked.
Yeah. They have no clue. They think they're overpowering Marine, but they don't realize the forces Daenerys got now. The Greyjoys are riding up to support Daenerys.
How cool would that be though if you're like, fuck, we're gonna take such heavy losses, the dragon's taken out some of the ships but not enough, and then you just see like this other fleet of ships and they're like, oh my god, there's even more of them, and then you start seeing the attacks happening on the master ships.
Yeah,
that would be a great way to tie into the ending of of the season, would be to have that be resolved in the last episode, like Yara meeting up with Daenerys,
Yep.
And Daenerys will have all the eunuchs.
There's all the eunuchs. And then, yeah, that'd be great because then it would be like next season, Daenerys is actually going to make her way to Westeros. You
Yeah.
know, the thing we've been waiting for the entire series.
That would be a great final shot of the whole season.
I
Would be like
remember
Daenerys on the ships.
I remember thinking, like, when the first season was running, you know, when Daenerys and her story was first introduced, you know, we got a sense of like the significance of it. I remember thinking to myself, it's going to be forever before she actually gets to Westeros, isn't it? Like, they're going to make me wait for 6 years later, still waiting. I was right. Thank you, Game of Thrones, for making me wait 6 years for this. I didn't even realize. I'm like, holy shit.
The last thing I want to talk about in pulling threads, though, is something that I'm kind of fearing is going to happen, but I really hope it doesn't. Not only because it would mean that my favorite character was killed off, like with off screen, but also because it would mean that I just don't think it would work well as a storyline. I think it would feel kind of cheap.
Yeah.
What if Arya's dead?
What if Arya is a Trump supporter? Yeah, it's terrible.
No, what if Arya is the waif? What if it was the waif checking back in, and when she said, when he said you're finally no one, it seemed like the waif was, not necessarily a full-on faceless man either. And Jaqen Hagar said, now you're finally no one, and she said, no, I'm Arya Stark, and I'm going home. What if that's the waif going home with Arya's face?
Oh, that'd be bullshit. I'd quit watching the show immediately. I'd be like,
but you could see it happening, right? Like, I mean, not like in a good way, but
I could see it happening, but it'd be bullshit, and this show would be arrowed like right away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing that that's that like horrible feeling that I just can't shake. I'm like, please don't let this be.
They won't do that. They won't.
I really hope they don't. But I could see them if they wanted to make a twist. Like, Arya's back with her family, everything seems to be going well, and then all of a sudden, like, Jon falls over dead or something.
This is why doing things for the sake of twist is dumb, and that's why I hate like some shows, like, because they twist it. It's like, yeah, that's a clever twist, but it was stupid and it doesn't serve the show. This would be like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, you were clever for doing that, but you just ruined the show. It's like
you may have done something clever, you may have paid off a clever event, but in doing so, you also like wrecked like 6 years of development.
Yeah, you wrecked 6 years of development, not to mention the fact that Arya's story like went, like we had just got done agreeing that like this storyline was pretty pointless for Arya. So if it turns out that Arya's dead, like that would be even worse. That would be like, wow, that was pointless, and she died at the end of it, and they did this.
Yeah, and it means she would have died off screen.
She died off
it's like my favorite character.
I would be
basically gone out like gone out like a fucking, I don't know, like shit, basically. Because she would have gone out because she did something incredibly stupid by letting her guard down.
Oh, I would be so upset.
I would too. That's why I said, like, that's something I just really hope is not the case. But
yeah, I really hope they're not going to do that. No, that's not happening.
I have that fear there. So.
I know. Now I have that fear because of you. I didn't it before.
Now everybody watching, all three of you have that fear.
Yes.
So that brings us that closes pulling threads. We have one more section to go over, which is Ravens. We got two more questions from friend of the show, SJ Martin 79. First question is, what is Cersei's move now that trial by combat is out? She won't go down without a fight.
Burning down the house.
That's the popular theory right now. She's definitely going to do something. I wonder if it's going to be that, or maybe it might somehow intersect with whatever Marjorie's plan is. It's not going to be bloodless.
No, it's not. With Cersei, no, it's gonna be hugs and kittens, because that's Cersei's character.
His second question is, what is Dany's next step now that she's back? So We kind of addressed this as well.
Danny's next step is wrecking shit and going to Westeros. Like,
hopefully, if she says, "Okay, I'm back and I have strong forces. Now let's work this government out. Let's make Marine great again." I'm gonna be like, "No."
Yeah, they're just gonna make plot excuses to like delay it some more. They're gonna be like, all the Greyjoy ships are gonna spontaneously explode, and she's gonna be like, "There's an orphan child here. I need to find his family." I'm gonna be like.
No, we already kind of mentioned this, like in pulling threads. What I think is going to happen is that they're going to be under attack from the Masters. The Masters are basically en route to be fucked, because if they make landfall, then they're going to get into the Dothrakis, who are just going to slaughter them. But right now they have an advantage from sea, basically bombarding them. So it's just a matter of like how much damage they can do before they're fucked.
Yeah,
is like the issue with the Masters. I think that the Greyjoys are going to come in, and that's going to add to their fleet. And then hopefully this season is going to end with them taking off to Westeros. I think that'd be the perfect way to end the season. Just be like, she's on her way to Westeros. They've set sail. You get this pull-out shot. You just see thousands of ships, and you see 3 dragons flying overhead.
Right.
That would be like the awesome shot, you know?
Yeah, that would.
I'm more interested in where Varys is.
Yeah, I'm more interested in where Varys is going, what he's doing. You know, I'm kind of interested in that. Yeah.
We know he's not comfortable with the Red Priestess, and then that became a big part of Tyrion's move, and then he left, like, right after that.
Yeah, he left right after that, so what's he doing? I don't know. It seemed like amicable, you know?
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows what he's doing? He might have left to secure the Greyjoys. He might pull up with the Greyjoy fleet.
He might. Who knows what he's doing?
So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, that's it for the show. So thank you everybody for watching. We do this show every week. Now, we normally record this on Monday nights. We're recording this on Tuesday night. It'll be up by Wednesday. That's just because of E3. We had other things on our mind. Next week as well is going to be recorded on a Tuesday. That's because I'm going to be on a family trip. So we're going to record on Tuesday night for that. And then for the season finale, we'll be back onto our regular track, unless something changes.
Yeah, unless something comes up. Yeah. Can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but you know, we plan to be on track for a season finale.
Yeah, so season finale should be up during our regular kind of time frame that we put these up in. We also have a podcast we record every Thursday. It's up on Fridays. I also put up a news video cast on Fridays where I go over kind of some of the recent news, some good news this week about a few things. So we'll go over that. And the podcast, we're going to be talking about Peaky Blinders some more.
Yeah, the season finale, season 1.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Going to be exciting.
So if you want to watch along with us with the Peaky Blinders thing, just get through the first season. It's only 6 episodes. And, you know, you can send us a comment at the weekly set at TVEnthusiast.com if you want to comment on that. If you want to contact us for this show, if you want to send us any questions for Game of Thrones, you could send them to the same email address, the weekly set at TVEnthusiast.com, or contact at TVEnthusiast.com. You could tweet us. All of our Twitter information is in the show notes in the article if you check it out. Leave a comment in the YouTube, on the TV Enthusiast page, anything, any means that basically reaches us, we're cool with. And if you get a question in before next Tuesday, we'll be able to talk about it on the show. So that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Night.
Night.